Hey everybody, hope you guys are healthy and safe. So I have here on me the Poco F2 Pro. So this is the sequel to the Poco phone that Xiaomi put out about a year and a half ago. That phone made a lot of splash because it offered you a flagship chip, flagship Qualcomm Snapdragon chip for about 350 bucks, I think. Now this unit here, the price has jumped up. It's about 500 euros. This is the international version I'm testing. I believe it's already on sale or will be on sale in Europe pretty soon. So 500 euro, it's a little bit higher in prices, closer to 550 US, but part of that again, it's because this phone runs on Snapdragon 865 and Qualcomm this year is making everybody that's buying the 865 to have to pay a little bit more to get that 5G modem. Like you cannot get the Snapdragon 865 if you don't pay for the 5G modem. That is why every phone using 865 is a little bit more expensive than it needs to be. For some people, that price is already a deal breaker because you think of Poco, you think of really good value. But if you can accept that 500 euro price, this phone has a lot to offer, man. So one of the special features, like basically I review so many smartphones. Whenever I get a phone, I try to look at what's different about it. Is there anything that it's doing that other phones are not doing right now? And with the Poco F2 Pro, that would be the 6.6-inch OLED display. As you can see, it has no notch and no hole punch. It's completely uninterrupted because the selfie camera is housed right here. It's a pop-up selfie camera. Now, this is not new, obviously. We've seen pop-up selfie cameras and uninterrupted display before, but not in 2020. This is the year where everybody, all the phone brands have decided they're going to use a hole punch display, and almost everybody has decided they're going to use a rectangular camera module on the left side. So the fact that Poco F2 Pro is sticking with this pop-up camera with an uninterrupted display makes it unique now, even though it's not new. There is no other phone right now, flagship level, that gives you an uninterrupted display. Another thing that I think a lot of people are gonna like is that this is a completely flat panel. It's not curved at all. I personally have said that I like flat screens actually. Let me grab my Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. So this is my Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro with a curved screen, and personally I like curved screens, but I know a lot of people don't like it because they think accidental palm touches and also color distortion at the sides. So for those of you, the flat panel on the Poco F2 Pro is gonna be a lot more appealing. And I have to admit, holding the Poco F2 Pro in my hand is slightly more comfortable because the sides are completely flat. Whereas on the Mi 10 Pro, the sides curve into a sharp point. So when I grip it really tight, it does feel like it's a little bit of a sharp edge digging into my palm. I guess another thing that the Poco F2 offers that other brands do not now is the headphone jack. Usually, you only get headphone jack nowadays when you buy a mid-tier phone. So to get an 865 chipset, Snapdragon 865 with a headphone jack is another kind of rarity. You don't find that nowadays in 2020. Elsewhere, everything else is very familiar. The software, it's Poco's own Poco launcher, but it really feels familiar to Xiaomi's MIUI. Everything looks very similar, with the major difference being that you have the app tray right out of the box. And I really like that. The Poco launcher, just the fact that it's an app tray makes me like it better than the MIUI. But you can still pull down notification shade by swiping down from anywhere. You can still double tap on the screen to turn on and off. So I like it. So this phone also has an in-display fingerprint sensor, but I haven't set it up yet to try. I don't need to. I already know it's gonna work well, but you know why? Because all these brands, Xiaomi, Oppo, Huawei, Meizu, they all use the same fingerprint sensor from the same company in Shenzhen. I actually went to that company last year and interviewed the boss and talked to him, and it's all the same tech. So that's why other reviewers who act like, oh, the OnePlus fingerprint scanner, it's a little bit better than the Vivo fingerprint scanner. That's just not true because they all come from the same company. They're the exact same technology. Okay, looking at the camera module, this is a quad camera system with a 64 megapixel main sensor, with a 13 megapixel wide angle camera, 5 megapixel depth sensor, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. So there is no zoom lens in this at all, no periscope zoom lens. And to that end, you only get digital zoom all around. So you can get 2x digital zoom, and you see the sliding bar doesn't even let you go any further. If you want to zoom more, you can't even slide on the bar. You have to pinch to zoom because it is all digital at this point. To be honest, to my eyes right now, 10x still looks respectable, but I'm pretty sure if I blow it up on a computer screen, it's not going to look anywhere near as good as the zoom camera on a Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro or obviously like a Huawei P40 Pro. The wide angle camera is 13 megapixels, so that also falls short of what's in the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro and in the OnePlus 8 Pro. And you can see some discrepancy in details between the main and the wide camera. But the main camera here is really good. I'm filming this video outside. It's around 7 p.m. I'm waiting for it to get dark. Once it gets dark, we'll test low light performance. But so far, daytime performance is looking good. The macro lens work really well too, as you can see here. And the depth sensor is fine. It's not the greatest portrait shot, but it's natural enough to me. And once again, I don't have another person here for me to test. So I've had to take portrait shots with just inanimate objects. Like I'm taking pictures of like cameras and a cup of coffee. You know, it's kind of sad because I don't have a friend or a girlfriend here for me to photograph. Now as for the selfie camera, this is a 20 megapixel selfie lens. I've never been the biggest fan of selfies. You know, I don't have the face for it, but selfies do look pretty decent. You can of course apply the portrait effects to blur out the background. Let's test out video recording. I tested a little bit and stabilization looked pretty good. So I'm going to record in 1080p right now. Oh, you can record up to 8K too because this runs on 865. So you can zoom in video, but once you begin recording, you cannot switch to a wide angle lens. You can only shoot at 1x or zoom closer. If you want to shoot wide angle videos, you'll have to switch to a wide angle lens before you begin recording. So other compromises in the Poco F2 Pro is that you don't have wireless charging and you don't have any IP water resistance rating. But earlier in Hong Kong it was raining, this phone got wet, no problems. And there's also only a mono bottom fine speaker. I mean, it gets pretty loud, but you can muffle it pretty easily. There's a 4,700 milliamp hour battery in there, and knowing Xiaomi's history, this is more than enough for a whole day. And there's a fast charging brick included that if you plug it in, just plug in for like 30 minutes and you're gonna top up like 60-70%. You plug in for an hour, it's gonna fill up almost to full, from 0 to maybe 80-85. So basically you're not gonna have to worry about battery life at all. So I'm still waiting for it to get dark so I can test the camera low light situation. So I guess I'll just wait around. Okay, it's starting to get dark. As you can see, the lights across the Hong Kong harbor has lit up. In the meantime, I've taken some sample photos with the main camera here. It's a Sony IMX sensor with the 64 megapixel. And I can start to see the difference between this camera and the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro's camera, which is a 108 megapixel camera, also Sony IMX sensor. You see how much more brighter the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro's images compare to the Poco F2 Pro. And that's where the kind of pricing difference comes in. Like in the day, if I have good sunlight, this main camera is going to be as good as this main camera. But when it starts getting dark, you know, tougher, more challenging shooting conditions, that's when you start seeing a difference. Okay, it's gotten even darker now. Not quite nighttime yet. I'm gonna start taking some photos now and then I'll wait till it gets a little bit darker later and test more. So as I already showed earlier though, this camera, I'm pretty sure if you shoot in standard auto mode in low light, it's not gonna be the greatest image. It'll be serviceable. Like right now, this is still pretty nice. Just not flagship level, but if you turn on night mode, you should be able to get a really good image because Xiaomi's night mode is really good. Xiaomi's computational photography, it's pretty on point. Okay, so now this is shot with night mode and you see the image is much better. With the Poco F2 Pro, just like with any other phone under 500 bucks today, you have to use night mode. If you use like standard camera at night, you're not gonna get images that can compare to what your friends might be getting from a Huawei P40 or an iPhone 11 Pro. But if you turn on night mode, that gap narrows by quite a lot. So night mode's a really good trick to help mid-tier or even budget phones keep up. Okay, so that about wraps it up for this first look at the Poco F2 Pro. I forgot to mention this display here is only 60 Hertz, so that's a little bit of a bummer because, you know, nowadays you can get 90 Hertz screen from even cheaper devices from Realme. So if you care about high refresh rate, you'll probably want to look into the Realme X3 Super Zoom or Realme 6 Pro. But if you don't care about that, then this is a really polished mid-tier device. It's not like the greatest value around, but definitely really polished and not many weaknesses. So anyway, that's about it for this first look at the Poco F2 Pro. I have a lot more content coming up, so please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram at Ben's Gadget Review. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.